called Homer.
Yeah, that's the one I want to
Smile.
get.
Coffee brown ale.
That's the one I wanted to get.
Tropical Chimp. Hazy New England style IPA.
I figured me and you are not really into hazies that much, so I
Yeah.
skipped on that one. But the uh, the coffee one, that one sounded good, but I feel like that's more me than you.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like reading through the ingredients. I know your intolerance for caffeine, so
Caffeine? You mean coffee? Caffeine
sure.
is one thing.
Yeah.
Coffee is another,
Okay,
dude.
coffee.
I could do caffeine all day long. It's when caffeine comes in, or coffee comes into play, where I'm going to shit my pants.
You know what I meant. We're on. We are on.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So this was going to be let's go liberal with it, since we're doing a West Coast beer.
Liberal.
I
I can't do liberal. Sorry. It's against my nature.
But we said we were going to talk the forbidden topics of the drinking crowd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have to strictly do that, but we can start out with that. I think that's a good starter.
All right. If you feel like it.
Right. Just before we talk about the beer a little bit, what's your take on those topics? Well, just to specify, it's religion, alien or UFOs, and politics. While drinking.
I'll talk about aliens. I think that's an okay topic to talk about.
Okay.
Religion, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me as far as talking about it, because, I believe in what I believe in, and whatever you believe in, okay, whatever.
Right.
Like, I don't care. Just don't preach to me.
Yeah.
And politics, only to a certain point. Like, there's some things I'll talk about with people while I'm drinking, but I have a couple friends who are very, very liberal. And as soon as they get on their soapbox, like, I just have to turn around and walk away, because I don't want to have to, one, destroy them, and two, make them, just have it be complicated. I just say, oh, no, you're starting to go too far. Yeah. Never mind, let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
And then we face the topic over to sports, because I could talk sports with them, and it's easier. Yeah. And then we can get in a debate about that, because friendly debates about sports are okay, because you can.
Oh, that depends. Rival teams, when you.
Oh, no, we don't really talk about rival teams. We just talk about, like.
No, I'm saying, like, let's say you're a Cubs fan, right? Mm-hmm. And you get into, I don't know how, I know you've told me before, like, oh, in my house we bleed Cubby blue, but I don't know how passionate you are.
Yeah, but I mean, but I also followed the White Sox to where I could back up my story with facts on why I'm more of a Cubs fan than a Sox fan.
So you're not, like, closed off. You're not.
No,
yeah,
no, not
I'm
all.
talking about, like, diehard fans.
No, like, I'll go to Sox games.
Yeah.
But I just there's underlying issues with that team on what makes me not a fan.
Okay.
And that's more along the lines of the management, the way that they've structured that team, and the things that they want to do with the team that just are not, good.
Right.
And all it's going to take is for the owner of the team, who is the Reinsdorfs, who have the main percentage of the ownership of the White Sox, to sell, and then they're going to move to Nashville.
Yeah.
Which would make more sense for them, being in a market that doesn't have baseball, but they have a basketball team. Or no, they don't have a basketball team. They have a hockey team, and they have a football team. And bringing a baseball team to that city would be better. And in that way, the White Sox fans don't have to be so angry all the time when they have a team that's, based on mediocrity.
Yeah.
Now, the Cubs, on the other hand, they're a whole bunch of underachievers. They spend money, but then they get cheap. And there's tons of money being pumped into Wrigley, and the Ricketts just don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
But now they're going to be in Japan for 2 weeks, which is actually pretty cool. The games start at, like, one game's at 10 o'clock at night, and then the next game they're doing a doubleheader.
Yeah.
So it's 10 o'clock at night our time, and then the other game is at 5 a.m. our time. Yeah.
Yeah, I at one point followed my Monterey home team.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, because they got a rivalry team, kind of like Sox Cubs thing, but they were playing Morocco at like 5 a.m. So we stayed up all night drinking, and then we watched the game, and it was like, oh, it's fucking 9 a.m. I guess I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Well, what you do is you go to bed and wake up at like 2 a.m. to then start.
No, we had started drinking early, so we just kept it going.
Oh,
But
no.
you know,
Like when we went and watched the Bears when they played in London, the game started at 9 a.m.
yeah,
and we started drinking at 8:30, and that was fun. And then by 2, I was done and ready to go home.
yeah,
So it was a perfect end to the day. And the Bears won that game, and it was awesome.
yeah. So
So that's my take on it. I kind
I
of
think, well, that's your
well,
over.
I avoid politics because that's just a sensitive topic more so in the past 8 years than it's ever been.
Yeah,
And I don't really get involved in religion because my depth of knowledge in religion isn't that versed. So I only have like just what I believe in. So I'm kind of ignorant to the conversation, so I avoid it.
well, you could be ignorant, but like based on what you know, let's say, and your beliefs and whatnot, you could have a little bit of a conversation with somebody who might be versed or might not, but you could like, I don't want to say open somebody's eyes, but because this is why there are topics that you don't talk about when you drink, because some people get rowdy, like, well, no, my view.
Oh, well, it depends. Like, are you talking about like a sect of Christianity with like somebody who's Catholic? I won't talk about it. But if I meet somebody who might be Muslim or might be Jewish or might be like Hindu or Buddhist, like I'll talk to them because I'm curious about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like those kind of conversations are okay because you're not necessarily in a form of disagreement. You're more of a conversation of wonder and you want to know things about that.
Right.
Like, so those kind of conversations, if I happen to come across any of those, which I'm pretty sure we got Buddhist, Hindu, and
Jewish.
Muslim, like you kind of really wouldn't be talking with them amongst drinking conversations because a lot of them don't consume alcohol.
Right.
But I would still bring up the conversation just of the fact of I would like to learn more. So those kind of conversations would be okay.
Yeah.
Now, Catholics and Protestants, no, I wouldn't get in that kind of conversation because that's a whole different thing. But in terms of culturally different religions, I would be intrigued to talk to them because of I would want to know more about them because I don't know.
Right. I'm just curious on like if we crack these bad boys open, we'll dive in because that's those are 3 topics that are very, very I guess you could call them fire starters for some people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about. I mean, aliens is more of just like a rabbit hole.
Well, you get to go alien, supernatural because there's people who believe, don't believe.
But I just I don't know. I don't feel of that one as like a fire starter because that's just more. That's another one of intrigue and wonder. You know,
for you.
Well, yeah, but I feel like politics is the one that I'd really leave out.
Well, that's more. I guess you could say now that we're older and a little bit pay more attention to what's going on because, you know, said current events and whatnot over the last 8 years, like you said. But, you know, those 3 topics to me are like the ones we would, when we hung out, it was like, all right, those are going to be held off till the end of the night when we know people that could argue are still going to be friends afterwards, kind of deal. Even though they would get rowdy and kind of get into shouting matches over it. Especially when I had 2 friends. One was a Catholic and the other one was a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, see, now that's just like putting oil and water together, man.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. They hang out, cool, all normal. We're drinking, having fun, having different conversations, and after a while, it's like, oh well, your belief is wrong, and it's like, oh well, wait, what? And I grew up Catholic, but I'm not very devout because I think there's a lot of plot holes in that story.
Well, yeah. To each their own. I guess. That's why, like I would say, I'm like, I don't, you believe in what you believe in, and I believe in what I believe in, and I kind of can diffuse that situation. I would be more curious just about the religion itself.
Right.
So that's my way of I wouldn't say diffusing the situation, but it's just a way of showing that look, I'm just curious on what smells like that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna be drinking for the masses, Brothers Chimp Brewing West Coast IPA, craft beers that taste like real beer, 6.5% alcohol by volume, and let's read this. An old school West Coast IPA, bursting with hop aromas, ranging from pine to citrus.
Yep.
Without an overwhelming hop bitterness, making it appealing to the masses. And Brothers Chimp Brewing is out of North Aurora. And a little bit about Brother Chimp. They opened the day before the world went on hold, March 16th, 2020. At Brother Chimp, we strive to create an environment that is safe, clean, inclusive, comfortable, and fun. We have a unique vibe and friendly, knowledgeable staff to give you an experience not felt anywhere else. Join us for weekly and monthly events in our main tap room and our newly expanded hangout, equipped with a stage, projector, TV, shuffleboards, and more. They have 12 taps featuring beers brewed on site. In addition, they offer a variety of ciders, wines, seltzers, pre-mixed cocktails, whiskey, bourbon, gin, tequila, vodka, and more. Brother Chimp Brewing aims to be your first choice for local, handcrafted, traditional, small batch beers.
So smell that.
Hang on.
It's
Let me open it first.
hop citrus forward, just like it said.
Ooh, but like
I wasn't doing
that's
the
actually
like bad.
well,
Strong.
the way you did it, I was kind of worried, but
No, it's strong.
oh yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's very, very pungent.
Yes, it is. It is very pungent.
Yeah. It's very golden though. I like that. I haven't tried it yet though, so I'm kind of waiting on you for that. But yeah, the smell is definitely strong. Just a little bit off the top.
There's a little bit left in the can, believe it.
I
So
gotta-
look-wise, I do like the look.
Mm.
The golden amber-esque with the very hoppy citrus smell. Very hoppy and citrus with the smell. But it says a bursting with hop aromas.
Yeah.
So 10 out of 10 for that. That's for sure. That is definitely on point.
Hit the nail on
And
the
just
head.
for reference, in the World Beer Cup in 2024, they actually won for the Vienna style lager, which is called Ludwig.
Yeah, saw that one there.
So yeah, they won the 2024 Beer Cup for that, the most prestigious beer competition in the world, for its Vienna style lager. Ludwig is a crystal clear walnut brown in color, easy drinking lager. The flavor is dominated by traditional toasty Vienna malts presence, accentuated by biscuity grains, and limited hop presence for exceedingly smooth drinkability. And looking at this place, it actually looks pretty cool. They have a lot of merch.
Monkeys are cool.
Old school dart. Oh, they have the old school dartboards where you need the real darts to throw at it,
Yeah.
like the cork dartboards. That looks pretty cool. Oh, that's a nice little tap room they got. All right. I think it's aired out enough. Take one more smell. Oh yeah,
Very hop forward.
that is very, very hoppy in the smell.
I'm a little nervous.
So am I. I'm a little nervous too
The smell
because
is so strong, but
I feel as soon as I taste it, all my taste buds are gonna go away, and I'm gonna have like dry mouth.
really.
That's what happens with me with really hoppy IPAs. I take a sip and then I have like dry mouth right away.
So just off the top of my head, it smells a lot like the Elysian beer. Remember that?
Don't get me started with that. That was let's not do that to this because
I'm just saying the smell because it's that forward.
yeah,
But
it's actually I know exactly where this is at.
where's that?
It's on Orchard and Randall Road in North Aurora.
Familiar with the area.
Like my tongue is already dry.
Mine
Just
too,
thinking
because
about
you
it,
said,
like-
oh, my mouth dries up. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, all right.
Cheers.
So here we go, West Coast IPA from Brother Chimp Brewing in North Aurora. Let's see how this is.
Oh, very hoppy.
Okay, it is hoppy,
Citrusy. It's got that.
and the citrus, but you know what though? It doesn't dry out your mouth.
No. It doesn't.
So it does. It is very hoppy, smelling and tasting, but it doesn't have that IPA punch to where you're like,
Yeah.
you know, it's very good.
Where
It's
it
very
feels like you're eating the beer.
yes,
Yeah.
it's very lighter than I thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
but it is.
I feel like these could get you fucked up though if you don't.
Oh well, yeah, it's a 6.5, so yeah,
Yeah.
they would.
Well, I mean, it's not that much more than Michelob's or your
True, but
everyday beer.
if you think about it, two of these
It's 12.
is 13% alcohol.
Oh, it's 6 or
6.5.
Okay, yeah.
6.5. 2, 13. Right? 3 Michelob's is 4, 8, 12.6. So you're thinking 3 to 2 ratio here. So 2.5 to 1, or 2 to 1.5 to 1.
Is your math not mathing right now?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you had 2 of these, it would be the equivalent of drinking 3 of those.
Yeah.
So you're kind of spacing those out to where, like, I like this. This would definitely be. I can have more than one of this, but I would not be going anywhere.
I think I could do the one.
Like I would if I had this, it would need to be a little bit colder.
Like Frosty?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would need it a little bit colder, and I would have to be like at home or like somewhere where I know I'm not leaving, because then I think I could drink like 3 of these
Mm.
and then be good for the night, and then
Yeah.
I would just be like,
Give me some water and some food,
yeah.
pretty much.
So this is definitely, or like I would say like a chill beer, like you're gonna be at home relaxing and you want a beer for flavor,
Yeah.
or like if you're grilling out and you wanted like a nice steak or like some fish tacos, dude. Fish tacos, and this would be fucking
You
perfect.
think?
Oh yeah, dude. Like grilled fish tacos, not fried.
Okay.
So grilled fish tacos with like cabbage slaw, jalapeno
slaw.
ranch.
I'm not a slaw person.
Oh, dude, you never had my
Give
friend.
me some slaw.
my-
Some slaw.
My fish tacos are insane, dude.
I'll take your word for it. I've tasted your cooking. It's good.
I do grilled mahi mahi, onions, or no, I don't do onions. I do
Bell peppers?
broccoli jalapeno coleslaw,
Okay.
jalapeno ranch dressing, and just flour tortilla, dude, with some lime on there, a little bit of cilantro. Yeah, that with this would be perfect. And actually, you could use this and do like a beer batter and fry the fish too.
Kind
Oh,
of saute
dude.
it.
Dude.
You must dominate. The
Now
fish.
now I got some ideas going, dude.
Hmm.
Oh man, I can't wait for summer.
Well, this is definitely not my favorite. I'm not gonna hate on it, but
I like it. This is I'm not a big fan of IPAs anymore.
yeah.
They like that really destroyed my mouth for a while.
Mm.
But this one,
Like I'm coming around to it after the second sip, but still.
well,
Give it a shot.
IPAs have like, at least from beers that I've drank over the years, IPAs are more, I would say, harsh taste, because it's
Yes.
more like pungent. Like you have to, like, I think if you're a fan of IPAs, it's like how people are a fan of sours, and like having to have that like taste,
Yeah.
just like how you're a big stout guy.
Yeah.
And there's a certain taste that comes with
That
stouts.
bitter, like smoky taste. Yeah. I like that.
So like that's more of your flavor profile.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind this. Like, would I make this my IPA is my go-to? No. But I can incorporate them every now and then because I don't mind that flavor. Just like sours, I'm not a huge fan of sours, but every once in a while, you get a good one
Yeah.
to where you're like, okay, I could drink that because it's just, but only like one.
Yeah.
Because you want to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like how I am with bringing in like seltzers every now and then,
Right.
because you need to, it's good to change it up and not have the same
You're
flavor
a beer
all the
whore. You're
time.
not monotonous with them.
No, but and it's just like food. You don't eat the same thing every day,
That's true.
so you'd want to change it up just to have a different flavor profile. But like this would be like once in a while. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be like, bro, I gotta stock my.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not hating on it. It tastes good. The smell's definitely there. I just don't think I'd be my go-to.
Yep, I get that.
But
I have to say, for a smaller brewery,
yeah,
that is a really good West Coast IPA, because I've had a few that were just like so harsh, dude.
yeah,
And you take one sip and you're just like,
yeah,
nope, here you go.
yeah.
I'll take something else.
Yeah, I've tried
But
those.
this,
Like Zombie does, it's really fucking forward.
yeah,
But that's
but
see,
Zombie
like that
good.
one I could drink.
Yeah,
That's good.
and that one's good. But I feel like this is really good too. But it's
What's the other one? Dogfish Bone or something like that?
Dogfish Head.
Dogfish.
See, now Dogfish Head, that dude is in a world of his own, because he has different versions of their IPA.
Yeah.
There's like a 6, 12, I think 24 and 48 hour IPA, where like 6, good. 12, borderline. Over 12,
Fuck you.
brutal. Like, I think I here, actually, let me look it up, because I remember I bought a few Dogfish Head because he was on a show back in the day. And actually, let me find the name of the show too, because the show was really cool. It was kind of like he would go to different countries
Mm-hmm.
and like want to learn about the way that they made beer, and want to learn their style of beer, and then he would recreate it and do like a limited run of that beer. And the one that he did, the one that really I watched the most is that, so here you got, I'll come back to that story in a second. So he has 30-minute IPA, 60-minute IPA, 90-minute IPA. 30-minute, good. 60-minute, tolerable. 90-minute, can't do it all, dude. Like, it's brutal. Like, it is something harsh to me. Other people might like it. I cannot do it at all.
It might just be me, but after having that red ale, this might be shocking my senses. That's what it is right now.
Yeah.
My taste buds and all that.
So here,
We need to get some ginger.
the show was called Brewmasters,
Yeah, heard of it.
and he would go to different places and learn about the cultures and stuff. But the one that he went to that I thought was really cool. Well, actually, there was only 6 episodes of it. He went to Egypt to learn how to make ancient ale, which was like beer that they made, like it was 9,000 years old, the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Then he did another one. It was don't worry about those. He went to New Zealand and learned how to do theirs. But the craziest one was in Peru, where he learned how to make chicha. And chicha is a corn-based beer, but what gets its like what they do is that they sit there and they chew on the corn,
spit it
and then they
back out.
spit it in the bucket, and that helps with like the fermentation and everything else. And then he's actually drinking homemade chicha.
You know where I learned that? The Eternals. Fucking weird, right? Hey, pick up something from movies every now and then.
But that episode was one of the coolest ones. And the dude, like, honestly, the guy just seemed like a really cool dude, and he would be really cool to meet. But that was pretty cool. But 30-minute, 60, 90. 60 at 90, not so much. Like 30-minute IPA is good. But I feel like this one is better than all of those.
I think the taste is a little bit harsh on the back of the throat a little bit.
Oh yeah, and it's just that's something that doesn't fit with your flavor profile. You're more of the dark, smoky,
or lagers.
Yeah, but you always gravitate towards a stout.
Yeah,
to where I don't. I like the more citrus kind of beers to bring up like more flavor. Yeah. So that's why I like this because it has that kind of note to it.
Right.
Now, like I said, 2,
3 times.
maybe 3 if it's a good night, and I'm like, I ain't got nowhere to be tomorrow. I have nowhere to go right now. I'm hanging out here. Then I would have it.
Yeah.
Like if I was having a barbecue at my house and somebody brought this over, like, hey bro, I brought you a gift. Here you go. I would drink these and then go pass out in my bed and be completely fine.
Yeah.
But it's all different, for everybody. But I feel like this is for, like I said, the size of the company.
Yeah.
The production of what smaller breweries do with West Coast IPAs and IPAs in general.
Yeah.
Like this is actually really good because it's not that kick you in the face kind of thing. Like I know you were talking about Zombie Dust.
Yeah.
Try Alpha King. Okay.
Good or bad?
Alpha King.
I can't read your face right now.
Alpha King is like if you open a door and somebody just kicked you right in the nuts and then punched you in the face.
Oh yeah, I don't want to.
That's how hoppy, straightforward, and hard. Dude, it is so harsh.
Yeah.
And it'll fuck you up. Like
it's high percentage.
Yeah, you will be destroyed. Mm. Me and Aaron would go because it wasn't available in Illinois. We had to go to Indiana to get it.
Mm.
And we would get we'd get 2 big bottles of it. They weren't 40s. They were like 32 ounces. And we'd come back and we would drink one. Well, I would try to get through one.
You'd be all fucked up.
Oh, dude. It was... I had to make sure that there was food on deck, dude. Because I'm just like, I need to eat because I'm just sitting there just like this in a chair.
I need to make sure there's something for me to throw up when I want to throw up. Yeah, I gotcha.
But yeah, it was just like a swift kick in the nuts and a punch in the face.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But this is good. I would drink this again.
Like I said,
it's not shelf worthy.
No.
But this is a really good beer.
Like I said, it's not horrible. It's just the tastes are really strong. The smell and the taste is very strong for me right now.
And it needs to be a little colder.
Like I said, I don't know if it's because we had that really good what's it called?
The red ale?
Yeah, but the name?
Or something? Anra's Marionette.
Yeah. That was like that might have relaxed me a little bit too much.
But that's also that fits into your flavor profile.
Yeah.
Okay, that fits into the darker,
smooth, sweet, smoky.
So you have to look at the comparisons here of what you're doing.
I think I fucked up when I picked them because I went like from they're polar opposites. Right
yes,
now.
That I try to get things when we do more than one show in a day. I try to get similar flavor profiles, so we're not.
And that's on me because I thought I got the regular lager, like the not West Coast one. So my bad.
No, it's no big deal. But yeah, I try to focus in on that just so that we have a similar profile and we're not going all over the place. Yeah. Like you get a stout and then
a sour.
A stout and a sour, and we're throwing up later because our stomachs are like, what is going on?
Yeah,
know.
Hey, oil and water.
But no, I would drink this again.
If somebody gave it to me, I would drink it. I wouldn't be like, no. But
but picture this, like
I feel like for me, it's more like I have to be in the mood for it.
Yes, this is definitely an in the mood kind of beer because I feel like IPAs in general are something that I have to be in the mood to have.
I think it's the hops, and depending on how fucking strong it kicks you in the face, and the smell. Like I've told you about this before, where I read the article about how beer has to be a certain temperature because the smell, and if it's too cold, it'll numb you, your face and whatnot. So,
I would want this a little colder, myself personally.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
you know,
maybe a chilled glass.
Yeah,
perhaps, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like if you're in the mood, the aroma, the temperature. It all factors in.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly,
I agree. This could be a little bit colder. It might seal the aroma a little bit more,
And I think, if you had this colder and you had it with something, like pairing it with a food, would make it better than just sitting here drinking it.
Some Japanese nuts if you want. Those like hard shell nuts.
No.
Salty.
No, I'm good.
Those are
But I'm
fucking
talking about like,
delicious,
no,
dude.
but that's what I'm talking about with it being like this and like some fish tacos,
Yeah.
dude. That would be
That you caught me off guard because I was like, oh, that with fish?
well
But
because but if you have it like the jalapeno ranch
yeah, that's
and
where I
and
was
it,
like, okay, I could.
and you
Start
have
seeing a
like
little bit.
you bring in those kind of flavors with it,
Yeah.
it would complement each other.
Dude, you would not know how many times I've thrown people off when I order food and I'm like, and when I want a fucking beer, I'm like, do you get Guinness on tap? Yep, give me Guinness. And I'll eat anything with Guinness, which is weird. It's not, I'm like, I could eat that shit with cereal, dude.
Yeah, that's
But that's just my taste palette, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's like where I fall in. I'm not saying I'm gonna go eat tacos with Guinness because that's kind of a fucked up mix.
yeah, those don't drive well
Right.
together.
But like most anything, if I'm getting like a pasta, I could drink Guinness with it. You know, fuck it.
Okay.
You know, wings not so much.
Yeah,
Depends on the sauce.
I would not do wings and Guinness.
Depends on the sauce though.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. I can't agree with you on that one.
Like if you don't get a spicy sauce, if you get like Parmesan garlic sauce,
Mm,
it might be okay. Well, it is okay. I've had it.
no, that's just like it's like mixing. No, I'm not okay with that one. If I'm doing wings, I need a light beer
A
that
lot
doesn't have too much flavor.
Yeah.
That's just there.
Kind of,
You know.
almost watered down.
Yeah.
It's just to wash the food down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a Modelo. That Modelo's pretty
All right.
flavorful.
All right. Modelo goes well with almost everything.
True.
Modelo and pizza. Modelo and tacos.
Yeah, but see, you can't do like Modelo and pasta. Maybe not so much.
Mhm. Modelo Negra.
Yeah, I don't know. It's malty, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think everybody's got a different taste palette where you're like, this is like, hey man, I'm not a pineapple and pizza guy, but fuck it, dude, they made it. You know.
Yeah, but see
Sweet and
here now.
sour.
Here's the one thing. I'm not a pineapple and pizza guy either.
But then you throw some jalapenos. on
But
it.
here's the
Now you're
now.
cooking.
But hang on.
Now you're cooking.
At Pizza Hut, you get the thin crust pizza.
Yeah, the tostada looking
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
And then you get the Hawaiian, and you add jalapenos to it.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Okay, now that I'll be okay with.
And then you throw some fucking Valentina on it to make it a little extra.
Yes.
Yeah, get that extra sodium in there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Now that sets it like that's the only time I'll eat pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, likewise.
But it has to be like that.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm like, you're a fucking psychopath. So
Mhm.
half my family's psychopath. I'm like, I'm like, hey, I'm ordering pizza. What do you guys want? They're like, oh, get a Hawaiian. I'm like, you fucking crazy people.
Yeah. It has to be super thin crust, and it has to be jalapenos on it.
That crunchy crust. too.
Yes.
It has to be.
It's like a cracker.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, because if you get one of those like, you know, thick dough or
Mhm.
whatever, you know, and it's just like,
no,
pineapple.
that doesn't do it right, dude.
Yeah.
No.
You're not doing
If
it.
it's thick crust, you have to go traditional, regular kind of pizza.
Yeah.
But thin crust, you can kind of play with a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because it's like a tostada.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, it's
Now see that
it's almost like it's not a pizza.
so that's another one. That's another one that I would drink with. I would drink this with because you got that
Hawaiian?
sweet yeah, the pineapple and the Hawaiian. Like you got
See, I
that.
could see that more than the tacos until you incorporated the ranch and the slaw. I'm not a big slaw guy, like I said, but then you said like, oh, you know, you got your broccoli slaw with the jalapeno in there. I was like, oh, maybe I could try that because every
dude.
time it's like the cabbage and fucking carrots, I'm like, and it's just like milky
Oh no!
consistency.
I don't put that much jalapeno ranch in there.
Mm.
I just put enough just to have a little bit on it, and then you put it on the taco so it's still crunchy.
I'm sold. You got me coming around to splitting another one.
All right.
We'll
But yeah,
do
dude. This summer, I will definitely make some fish tacos.
Mm.
Colleen won't eat them, but I'll make them, and we'll have them.
that. Yeah.
Actually, you know what we should do? Oh,
Listen.
dude, we should do a show in my backyard.
We could do that.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
And have it set up, and we can just like grill out and talk about stuff, and then eat and do the show.
I like that.
Yeah.
You'll be catching a lot of background noise, but yeah.
Yeah, we can figure it out though.
Yeah. Oh, we can use the portable mics.
Yeah.
That should be good.
Yeah, dude, we could do like we can.
That show with Mike came out really good. I like that.
Yeah, that was good. Hopefully, if we use the fire pit, there's no bunnies in there.
Oh my god, ghost bunnies.
Oh, I saw Dan the other day, and we were talking about that.
You guys good?
Oh yeah, we're good now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're better now. Yeah, once all that stuff, yeah. But we were talking about because he asked about
All
you.
that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what stuff. But
Well, just
yeah.
the nonsense with the
I'm not.
the engagement party and not showing up and stuff. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Like I got over that.
I read you.
But
Like I could tell you, like having friends that I've known years, not as long as we've been friends, but like we're talking 15 years plus.
Mhm.
So they're friends. You know, they're not like somebody you know and you hang out with. Like these are guys I still talk to every now and then. Fucking WhatsApp, and they live in another country.
Mhm.
And they were invited to Allison's baptism. They're like, I'm like, hey man, you coming? How many do I need to put you down for? Because this is like a plate thing, so I need to know if they're eating.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, you would not fly down, so
No,
you are invited. You know that. But these fucking guys, I was like, you coming? They're like, yeah, put me down for 4. I'm like, all right, put me down for 3. Okay, fuckers didn't show up. I was butthurt, dude.
Well, see, that's messed up, dude. Like you don't do that kind of stuff. You
Yeah.
know?
And the guys that did show up, I was like, oh man, thanks for coming, you know, blah, blah. They saw the kid. They were fucking like, oh my God, dude, she's fucking beautiful and all that. And I'm like, have you talked to these fucking guys? They tell you why they're not here? And they're like, oh, this dude said, like, they were asking if, like, everybody's coming. I'm like, yeah, I invited everybody. Like, I haven't seen those guys in, like, since the wedding, basically. So, like, 4 years almost.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, everybody was invited, and there was an after party, and they were invited too, and like they didn't fucking show up. I'm like, I was a little butthurt, but then we get on the group, and they're like, sorry, dude, I had work, and I wasn't sure if anybody was gonna come, so I was like, what the fuck do you mean you don't know? I'm like,
Well,
you don't need I'm like, what do you need, a fucking cheerleader squad?
Well, and I had this conversation with a friend of ours who was in the wedding, my wedding, and he's getting married this year.
This is Smitty.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
So he's getting married this year, and we were talking about because he was talking about his wedding party,
Yeah.
and how he's putting things together, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, you know," he's like, "I have friends from when I grew up that we really don't talk that much, but we still talk, but I want them to be a part of it. But then I've met other people along the way that I want to be in the wedding, and you know, like I'm kind of torn about how to go about it." Like how, like to have in his wedding party.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Yeah.
And I kind of broke it down for him. I'm like, well, dude, I'm like, people change, man. Like, it's just how it goes. I'm like, me and Juan have been friends forever for the longest time. And I go, there was a period of time, dude, like we didn't talk as much because he lived in another country.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it worked. But then he came back and we caught up like it never ended.
Yeah.
And I'm like, then I've had other friends that I was close with growing up that just kind of fell by the wayside. And I go, but then I met everybody else. I mean, I'm like, I met JJ at work. I met Julio through Colleen, you know, and I met Julio through Colleen and Emma to meet Julio. And me and him became instant friends the day we met.
Yeah. You
Like,
guys had a lot in common.
like I didn't know him, and I was talking with his wife about how we're coming out there to visit them.
Yeah.
And then the first minute I meet him, me and him are off on a little adventure of being friends. And then they were like, "You guys are so gay together." It's like, all right, well, we connected. Like, that's just how we are. And then I'm like, and then I brought up him. I'm like, and then I met you, and I'm like, and me and you met, and we connected right away. I'm like, life is weird like that, to where you have some friends who stick around when you're younger,
Yeah.
and then you grow up, and then you meet like the people who also become friends, but then they become more than that. They become kind of like a family. And I go,
Right.
and that's where we're at now. And I told them that. I'm like, and you'll see who you want to be in there and not in there. And that's just the reality of how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, the way I look at it is people are going to get butthurt.
Mhm.
Because even if they were like your best friend when you were in kindergarten, what have you, and then you lose contact, or you're still friends, but you're not as you. There was a thing that I used to kind of live by, not live by because that sounds like it's a fucking mantra or whatever. But like I was like, I heard this somewhere. It was like you meet your real friends when you're young, and those friends that you keep throughout your life, like that circle gets smaller.
Mm-hmm.
I know mine did. And then there's friends that you meet when you're becoming an adult, and you meet a lot of people, but then that circle gets small, and those are the two little crowds that you roll
Oh, yeah.
with, you know. And those are the people that I still talk to this day.
Yeah.
And like for example, like I know you were a little bit butthurt when I got married because you were like, dude, I can't fly down. What have you? And then, who's your best man? I was like, well, my brother's my best man.
Well, you didn't tell me that.
I didn't? I thought
No.
I did. But I was like, if I did not have brothers that I would pick as my best man, I was like, I was like, my idea would be like, if I'm your best man, my best man is Phil, and Phil's best man would be you. That would be my, like, closing the circle, you know? In that ideal world of
His best man would have been Greg.
Shut up, stupid. Shut up. Well, then Greg's best man would be you. But that would be my
No.
idea for closing that.
We weren't. I wasn't allowed to hang out with them.
Shut up. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
if Greg was around, I had to go home.
well, between the three of us, I was like, that's how we would close the circle. Like, we'd take turns. I would be your best man. Phil would be mine, and then you would be Phil's, or vice versa. Whichever way you want to look at it, we'd close the circle where everybody was the best man to another friend, and
Well,
nobody would get butthurt.
See, I wouldn't. No, I wasn't. I wouldn't be butthurt about that situation because I feel like our friendship, me and you, is different than our friendships with Phil. I think, at least from my perspective. I feel like we had a different friendship than our friendships
See,
with
that's the
him.
thing. Growing up, you and Phil were tighter than me because you guys started playing guitar and all that shit before me.
Yeah, but
you guys had that more in common until
But I
you started hanging out more.
but
I
I felt
more
like-
with Kevin and.
But I felt like
Greg
me.
came in.
But I felt like me and you were more.
In tune?
I don't want to say. All right, the way that I want to, I'm going to try to explain it is like, me and you felt more like family. I think because you were always at my house,
Yeah.
I was always at your house. Like you were always like you wanted to. If you were over, you had dinner.
Yeah.
Like those kind of things. So I felt like our friendship was more like that, like a family relationship than a friendship. That's how I feel like it was. To where with Phil, we were friends and we had those connections, but I also felt like I had like an obligation to make sure that he went to school.
That was later on. Though.
I know,
we've
but
known each other since grade school. Like,
but I felt
third
like
grade,
it was
second grade.
more along like we had like I had to help him
Yeah.
with things, like, dude, get your shit together, get to do this, do that. To where me and you, it was
you don't need to worry about me.
yeah,
I'm good.
like hey dude, are you coming over today? Like, well, yeah, of course. All right, cool. And then we'd play Metal Gear Solid in the front room for hours,
Yeah.
or
fun.
or it would be
I remember your dad came in when we finished the game. He
Yeah.
was like, I'm going to watch this.
Yeah.
How about you, Snake? You fucking boxing liquid
But,
on the fucking rig.
but those are the kind of things where I feel like it differentiated our friendship to where our friendships with him.
What
to
I'm
where,
going to is like we were the three of us, regardless of how tight me and you were, or how tight you and Phil were, or how tight me and Phil were. The three of us were like a unit.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to. Where it's like, if the estranged situation didn't happen a little bit with you guys at that point in time, and everything was good all the way around, that I feel like that would have been the deal with us. Like, hey, you know what? If you were like, hey man, Phil's gonna be best man. When he gets married, you're gonna be his best man, and when you get married, he's gonna be your best, or I'm gonna be your best man. And I feel like that would have been like a nice little triangle for us, because I mean, you can incorporate other people that we grew up with and they hung out here and there, But I'm like, yeah, no, they might have been a part of the wedding party, but they would not be included in that. Like, I'm your best man guy,
Yeah.
you know. And another thing was,
Unless you're walking down with somebody else's wife.
yeah, well, that and in Mexico they don't do the wedding party.
Yeah.
You have the assigned positions, but they don't do the wedding party. Like, hey, the wedding party sits at a long table because my ex friend who got married on my birthday, Money Shot. Let's just call him by his nickname, no names. When he got married, I was part of his,
Wedding party?
Yeah, well, no, not wedding party. I was part of his bachelor brigade.
Oh, okay.
But the wedding party was like his brother, his like super tight friends, and I was like, I'm your work friend. I get along really good with you, and you want me to go to your bachelor party? I'll go. I'll fly to Vegas with you. You know, it's a fun time for me and for the guys that are going. We had a great time. But I didn't get butthurt because I'm like, oh, you didn't put me in your wedding party. I'm not your best man. I'm like, no, fuck that, dude. I know you got friends before me. I know you're tight with other people. But like us, like the way we grew up together is kind of different because we are like family, you know. And
that's why I'm talking about how our friendship differentiates that.
Well, see, that's the thing though. Like,
and that's where I look at like my buddy, like Myron.
Yeah.
Myron and you are friends to me in that similarity, to where Myron, like when you moved away and you were out here,
somebody had to fill that gap.
No, not like that. But me and him had a connection as soon as we met.
Yeah.
Like I saw him playing drums.
Well, even before that, yeah. We were still in high school, and we went through. I stuck with football. You went more into like the music side of that.
Because I couldn't move my neck. But anyway, but when I met him, we connected right away, and it was just like I'm like, dude. And then he was at my house all the time too because of his family situation, and he was, my mom would be like, "Oh, is Myron staying the night?" Yeah. "Oh, Myron's gonna go to school from here?" "Yeah, sure."
What happened to Juan? Where's he at?
They knew you moved, and you came out here to.
No, this was still in high school, sucker.
No, when Myron was staying at my house, you were gone already.
Nah, dude, I left after senior year.
No, you weren't here. You weren't here then.
Yeah.
No.
Dude, I graduated from Plainfield.
I know.
Before it was Plainfield Central.
But Myron would stay at my house when he graduated.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So
he's a year younger, right? 2 years younger?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when he was already graduated, he was still coming to my house because we still had the band.
Gotcha.
But then he was still staying at the house, and then after I graduated, dude, he was there all the time.
Right.
But it was like, oh, is Myron coming? Is Myron going to be here for dinner? Is Myron going to use the shower today? Is Myron staying over?
I'm never going to get over the fact that your dad's like, when is the band getting back together?
Yeah.
I was like, yes!
But
that's what I'm talking about, Mike!
But that's how I look at, like, you and Myron. Our friendships were on a different level because it was... I don't want to say this word because I don't want it to be taken the wrong way. But it was more of an intimate level, but like of an intimate level of family.
Yeah.
To where you guys were welcomed in as part of that.
Dude,
to where other people who were friends.
Like when I got the thank you card for the wedding, I was like fucking touched, dude. I was like, dude, I feel the same way. And I have brothers, but there's the family you have and the family you choose, And when I got the card and you're like, I love you like a brother, and I was like, oh, dude, that's fucking touching. And I showed it to Tyler. She was like, oh, that's really nice. I know he's your best friend. And I'm like, it's a little more than that, like not no homo, no diddy or anything like that, but it's that level. Like it's like when Cameron told me, he's like, dude, Kyle told me you guys have been friends for like 30 years. I was like, yeah, and I was like, it didn't faze me, but I was like, oh shit, you just said 30 years, fuck.
Well, do you know how I get that all the time when I tell people about that?
Yeah,
they're like, when they talk about friends and stuff, like, oh yeah, I have a friend that I've been a friend with for, I'm like, I'll take my age and I'll minus it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, like 34 years.
Yeah.
They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I mean, he moved away and then he came back, and as soon as he came back, it was all right back to where we started.
It's like right where you left off.
Yeah.
No fucking.
Like
shit happened in between. It's like, oh, what happened? And that's the thing. Like with I don't want to stereotype, but like women, where they're like they don't see each other and they need to have like fucking meaningful month-long conversations about like what happened this day of your life.
Yeah.
And blah blah. And we're like, you good? Yeah. Oh, cool. Oh, you want to grab a beer? Sure. What's going on with that? Ah, just working shit. Cool. Want
Yep.
another beer? Sure. And that's how guys are. And
Mhm.
it's like so fucking true. You
Yeah.
know?
And that's what I have been telling what you like to call him is Smitty. Is that that's how things work,
Smitty.
which is not his name at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just telling him, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm like, that's just how it works. And I'm like, when I met him
Yeah.
and his fiance, it was a funny situation. I met them at a party, and this weird dude like came up to her, and he's like, I guess this dude was trying to talk to her for a while, and he's kind of a creeper. He was really awkward, like it just didn't feel right. And there was a big like slip and slide, and he was gonna go on it, so he took off his shirt or whatever it was, and he put it next to her. He's like, "Hey, can you watch this while I go?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." And he went off and did his thing, and I'm like, I looked at her, I'm like, "You don't like him?" She goes, "Nope." I'm like, "Well, I don't like him either." And I took his shit and I threw it in the garbage can. And as soon as I did that, she went and told Smitty this what happened, and he came up to me. He's like, "Dude, you did that?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Why'd you do that?" I'm like, "Well, she didn't like him." I'm like, "I didn't fucking like the guy either, so I fucking did that." And then we became friends from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just like, he calls me all the time. He's out working in Ohio. He calls me. We talk. Like he's driving home. I'll talk to him for a couple hours while he's driving home.
Yeah.
We go back and forth. And Colleen would be like, she's like, "Oh, you're talking to your lover?" I'm like, "All right, whatever. He's just a good friend." Like whatever. But it's just, and I told him, like,
Jesus, dude, does she think all your friends are your lovers? Because like when I call, she's like, "You guys are fucking gay," and I'm like,
exactly,
we're just fucking
because I don't talk on the phone unless it's like somebody I like to talk to.
Yeah.
So like if my mom calls, I'm just like, "Oh, I gotta go, busy," and just whatever. And when she calls, I put the phone
I cannot
down.
imagine like Colleen sitting down with us to watch like Showdown in Little Tokyo or some shit like that. Where we were
No, she would leave. She would leave right away.
That's what I'm saying. Because we would sit down with like drinking beers, like that was funny, and we'd like fucking be like,
Yeah.
we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Peacemaker.
Dude, she leaves.
Like
she leaves when me and the boys are watching stuff.
oh.
Because we'll start being that way, and then she'll just leave and go sit in the other room.
The funniest shit recently that happened was when I called you and you're like, "I'm watching Braveheart." I'm like, "What part?" And you're like, "Oh, this is happening." I'm like, "Oh, did he meet the French chick yet?" And you're like, "Yeah, he's about to get to that." I'm like, dude, that's a fucking good." We were talking for like 10 minutes, and then she comes in, she's like, "Juan, he has chores to do," and I'm like, "He's watching a movie." What the fuck?
Oh, I know. I just put that on just because I like to hear the music.
Yeah,
but
that shit was fucking funny. Like, as soon as we hung up, I was like, "He in trouble?"
But yeah,
like I know you weren't really in trouble, but I was like, "That's fucking funny." The way she talked about it, like he's got chores to do, and I was like, "It's fucking hilarious, dude."
Oh, I know.
Because I know it wasn't like, "Okay, I'm gonna go mop the floors now." I was like, he's probably cleaning and watching. Like you have the movie in the background, and I called, and you probably sat down and watched a little bit.
Yeah, basically that's what I was doing. Yeah,
because I do the same shit, like not cleaning, but I'm like, I'm busy. You call me, I'm like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" And I'm like, we'll have a 5-10 minute conversation because we get shit out what needs to be said, and then if there's time, we could prolong the conversation for hours, which is kind of the reason for the podcast. Because like we need to catch up. We talk about shit, and hey, all right, well, I'll talk to you later, bud. All right, like I could sit and watch a movie and talk with you on the phone, and if it's a movie I know you saw, we talk through the whole movie. Like, even if you're not watching it, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, that part's fucking. Yeah, that's a good part." Or did he say this yet? It's like, and then I feel like that fucking let's say intimacy, like you said, with a person, a friend, it's like that's next level. Where it's like kindred spirits, whatever you want to call it, but it's like you got your wife, I got my wife. That's a different thing. But like the way we connect is different.
Well, exactly.
We're like,
and that's why I use the term. I use the word intimacy in a way where it's a different connection,
right?
Than norm. Than like there's this and then there's that.
Yeah.
Of
course. And that's fucking.
And that's why I say that our friendship was different than my relationship with Phil.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's I don't want to go into a rabbit hole with that
Yeah,
conversation.
then don't.
No, but I just feel like with his upbringing and things, it was a little different.
Yeah.
You know,
that's for sure.
so I feel like that um
Cultural divide.
that cultural differences
Yeah.
is different, which created a different dynamic
Yeah.
in our relationship.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
because he didn't have that kind of family dynamic that you had.
Yeah.
And my family dynamic was a little bit different, but I had it with my sisters and my grandma
Yeah.
to have a little bit more of a similar family
The
dynamic than you had.
Yeah.
But his was way different.
Yeah.
And it's still way different than a normal family dynamic, I think.
The
Or your prototypical family
yeah,
dynamic.
that's kind of what I was gonna say. Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that might have I feel bad talking about this because I feel like that kind of hindered him in a little bit with certain relationships in certain, like, our relationship was different even before the other stuff.
Yeah. Can we take a pee break?
Sure.
Be right back. Yeah, we're back.
So you know what I think we should do?
What's that?
I think we should have Phil come on.
I'm down.
And
He might get mad because he doesn't have headphones though. I'll let him sit in
well,
my chair.
whatever, he can sit here. I'll be the third party and I'll sit over there.
I'll be the techie. It's always been my dream
No,
ever since
no, because
Last Call Sports.
because last time you were the techie, I got yelled at, or
Why?
well, didn't Talia get mad when I was the forefront of things?
Oh, she just asked like, "How come you didn't do the interview?" I was like, "Well, I'll do the next one."
Well, yeah, that was the point of us switching off
Mhm.
and doing things. You know,
You gonna crack that bad boy open? Do halfsies?
you could crack it open.
Come on,
You crack it open. It's closer to you anyway.
you son of a bitch!
It's over there. Yeah.
I only got you in my right ear right now. I don't know why.
Huh?
Headphone issues. I only got you in my right ear.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Both of us are coming in pretty clear on my end.
Yeah, your headphones are better than mine for some reason.
Well, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. No, dude, I told you a long time ago. I was like, Phil should come on sometime.
Well, I felt like he should have been a part of it from the get-go, but
Yeah.
he was,
Like I really want Cameron to come, and I think that would be a nice like music album vinyl collection episode.
yes.
Julio with all his life experience. You know, I'd like to know more about his stuff. He's a really cool dude. He's funny. I like them a lot.
Yeah.
Like those dudes. That party that we went with was like, oh, because I don't like other than you, Phil, Bubba. I don't have a lot of friends other than like work people I meet, and I'm just like, you know, they're cool dudes. I like them. Like right now, me and my partner really vibe. He's a Mexican dude, which is funny because everybody's like, "Do you guys talk Spanish when you're fucking doing your job?" I'm like, no. Like sometimes we get a little Mexican, but like not really. And the cool thing is like he's really into anime, and I was like, oh, I used to be into it too, and it kind of like flourished again in me to watch like shit, and I was like reading mangas and shit.
Well, and that's where
He's got to come on too. Orville, he's a cool dude.
Like,
he's really chill.
you know, with the people that I met being with Colleen has really opened my eyes to different people.
Yeah,
Like I would have never met Cameron if I didn't.
that dude's
her.
an old soul like us.
And that's the thing.
Kind of.
The day I met him, we were sitting. It was the first time I met him, and it was actually me and Colleen's, I think, first date.
Yeah.
On our first actual date, I met her parents,
Yes, you
like
told
out
me.
at a bar, and then I met them,
Mhm.
and then just being kind of thrown into everything, and it ended up turning out to be like Colleen and Alyssa talking, and then me and Cameron talking, and then me and Cam just connected right away. One because of music, and then we just kept on going from there. He's like, "Oh, dude, we need to do this, we need to do that," and we connected right away. And that all goes forward to the bachelor party, to when everybody met together. My biggest thing was like, I just want everybody to just to meet and hang out and have a good time.
Yeah.
I didn't care about like I feel like Kentucky was the perfect setting for it, because it was just us, you guys getting together, of people who didn't really know each other to meet. Like JJ, like people met JJ, like Smitty, that you like to call him, but that's not his name.
Schmitty.
Connected with JJ right away. He's like, dude, JJ's so cool when he opens up. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, it took me 6 years to get that out of that guy for him to be able to be my friend. Like, when I was working with him, it took that much out of me to get him to be my friend.
Yeah.
And I told him, like, that's why I want you to be here and be a part of this, because of how hard I wanted to prove to you that, one, I knew how to do my job, but how I wanted to be your friend.
Yeah.
And as soon as, like, I told him all that, he was like, dude, you didn't even need to ask me. Like, I'd be a part of this no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And then bringing you into it to see these people, and Julio and Cam and Smitty. I hate calling him that because that's not his name. And then Colleen's brother and everybody to bring together. I'm like, I just want you guys to all be a part of how I feel about all of you.
You know what the cool thing was about that was, at least my humble opinion about it was, you had this group of friends, all probably, well, not everybody from different, social groups that you have.
Oh, everybody was from different areas, but they all came together.
Right, and nobody was an asshole. Nobody had an ego trip.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be the alpha. It's like, nah, dude, fuck all that. No. So I'm here to have a good time, and everybody had good conversation, and everybody was just down to have a good time.
Except for you hating Morgan Wallen.
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah. That poor guy playing those cover songs.
I will neither accept or deny those allegations.
Well, everybody at that bar in Bardstown, Kentucky, heard you say that Morgan Wallen sucks.
If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit.
But my biggest thing was, I feel like I have a pretty vast group of friends that can come together on one thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like we all gelled together in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And especially as the weekend went on, like, there was like groups forming of people who didn't really know each other, who started to get to know each other and wanted to hang out.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was my ultimate.
Me and Cam broke off to get babes,
and that was,
you guys stayed at that brewery.
But that was like my ultimate goal, was it to not be about me, but to be about the people I care about, getting to know each other.
Because it was your bachelor party.
But
I'm not saying that like it's like it had to be about you.
No.
About you.
But I felt
we
like
were there for you.
But I felt like it was a connection where everybody was like, you guys all came together for one thing, but then you guys all found.
Yeah, like we all had good conversation. Yeah. We all had like,
and that was
something to talk about.
That was my look at it from the outside, I guess, looking in, to where I wanted the people who I liked and I like to be around to then be around each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how it should be. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be like there's like, there's some people who get married who have like that awkward friend.
Yeah.
Who's like over there and don't get involved in the group, to where I felt like everybody at one point all came together and we're all like, oh dude, this is a fucking good time. Like, we don't need to do whatever, like, we're all good here. Or like, you and Cam can go over here, and Smitty and JJ can go over here, and then all this other things just kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was what I was looking for out of all of it. Like, for me, it was more about you guys getting to know each other because of how I felt about all of you individually, to then come together as like, this is why I like you guys. And this is why you guys are a part of this, because it's more about you guys getting to know each other because of how I feel about all of you as individuals.
I think the best part was that nobody was an asshole.
Well, yeah, that too. and there was no fights. There was no
No,
nothing. You
nobody was
know
fucking a bitch about like, well, I get this room or this is my stuff or
exactly.
everybody was like, sounds kind of gay, but it was like lovey-dovey situation. It was like,
Well, no, I feel like it was good all the way around. And when
yeah, that's what
people
I
were
mean.
asking me like, "Oh, what
Dude,
happened?
we
What
were having
happened?"
such a good time. Even when we went to that distillery, like even there, we were just like,
You know,
having
you're
a
getting
good
right.
time.
Those are pretty strong
The
pouches.
Yeah, I spit my. Oh, well, I took mine out a while ago because I'm like,
I put in another one. I had to take it out.
oh, does it mix well with the hops?
No, it was just being a little too strong.
Oh. But yeah, that was a good time. And like, you know, the thing with like a core group of friends that you get together from different social groups and they balance well,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is what happened. Like, you guys were like, we're gonna go get Matt. We'll meet you guys at the fucking Barnum Minion. We're like, cool. We'll see you there. The this was funny, but fucked up was like the three Mexicans could ride together.
Well, that was the thing, dude.
That
He
was a
said,
happy
"Is
accident.
that you guys we separated?" And I remember driving to the airport, and I think even Smitty sent a thing to Cam. He's like, "Oh, it's a good thing you guys didn't come here because Border Patrol was at the airport."
Fuck you. Oh man, that's funny.
And then you and Cam getting mad about us taking that picture and you guys weren't in it.
Oh yeah, we weren't like butthurt, but we were like these fucking assholes. And we were talking to the bartender. We're like, we should take a picture with you. These guys will get jealous, and like you guys came in right when we were about to ask her.
It's all right.
Yeah.
But like I said, that was my overall goal, was for everybody just to meet and have it be about you guys more than it was about me.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I asked each of you for a specific reason to be a part of it,
Yeah.
and then I wanted you guys to meet each other to then understand why it was the way it was. And I feel like you guys all came together in a way where it was like, oh, good, I didn't even need to bring this up. This happened organically, to where I brought these group of people who normally probably wouldn't get together to get together. And I think it was a good time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we would have come together at the wedding, but it would have been awkward.
No, I feel like having us all together in one spot,
yeah,
for where you guys meet each other and you get to know each other, and you and Cameron became friends during that whole thing.
mm-hmm.
You like to call him Smitty. Smitty and JJ made a connection because of that. JJ came out of his shell way faster than I took to get him out of his shell.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was times where like when we were at that bar in Kentucky where you and Schmitty were in the back with Julio. It was just me, Cam, Matt, and JJ. We were just hanging out at the bar, like, oh yeah, dude, fucking A, this and that.
But that was my take from it, is that I just wanted the people that I cared about to be together.
Yeah.
And that brings me back to, everything that we've been talking about, to what I had conversation with Smitty about his party, and how, you have to grow, you grow in life, and you figure out people who come and go and who matters the most to you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
sure.
And it's a simple thing, and I'm just like, it's just a part of life. Like, yeah, you have these friends that you grew up with forever, but you might not have had those life experiences with them, just because life gets in the way, or you guys have different interests or different things that come up in life, to where like me and him became bigger and better, became closer friends than say somebody that he knew before.
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't change your relationship with them.
Yeah.
You just have a new relationship now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not going to change
your
anything, like our relationship, and I wasn't trying to insinuate anything, but I'm just like, yeah, dude, like you pick who you want to be there.
Yeah.
And you figure out the people who are not most important, but have that biggest effect on you.
Yeah.
Well,
It's I tell you, like, when I met my wife's family,
Mm-hmm.
her sister was already married. Her dad and I, good. Me and Hector hit it off. It's like kind of like almost like the same relationship I have with you without the years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like we fucking hang out and we can talk about stupid shit all day.
Yeah.
Different interests, but that's where like I listen and he tells me, and then I'm like, oh, I know this, and that too. And he always asks for my input because it's like, okay, you don't know this, so what's your take on this kind of deal, and vice versa.
Except when it comes to cartel deals. I mean,
Shut up, stupid. But we hit it off, and it's like we're fucking tight. Where it's like to the point where it's like we call each other, and I was like, dude, let's do a video call and just fucking hang out and drink beers. Like I'll be here and you'll be there, and like we'll just talk and drink beers because that's what we do when we're down there. We're just hanging out, drinking, talking, just bullshitting.
yeah.
You know, and that's where you know you could have a. That's when you know you have a good relationship where you can just bullshit with people about nonchalant, irrelevant shit for hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you don't necessarily have to be drinking, but you could just keep it going until it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to bed, dude. I'm tired. And you could just be honest about it. Like, I'm going to bed, dude. I'm tired.
Yeah.
All right, dude. We'll talk tomorrow, or we'll talk some other time. Cool. See ya. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then you see that person. It could be the next day, a week later, a month later, longer, and you're just picking up where you left off.
Yeah.
And you fill it in with more current shit. Which is kind of like that gap that we had where I moved away, where you just like, oh, we could pick up right where we left off.
Yeah. And I think we came back stronger, actually, when we came back.
I agree.
You know, and I feel like we came back with, I don't want to, well, it's just more, it was more of like, hey, dude, like, you're here, I'm here, and, you know, this is where we're at, and we're going to keep it that way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like you told Schmitty, like, you choose who you want to have in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of deal. I mean, it's easier said than done, but it goes a long way. You know,
Yeah.
You choose. Some of those people might not want to stay, but the ones that do, they're worth it.
Yeah.
You know, they add value to your life. Like, I could tell you, like, the gap that I have with my brothers, my oldest brother is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
You know, like, when I see him, we talk about stupid shit. We have some similar interests, and we'll talk about that when we're together.
I thought it was funny when I saw your brother.
Yeah.
When he's like, oh my God, dude, I haven't seen you forever. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's been a long time. He's like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, man. Like me and your brother have been friends for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's funny is like just like how I have my core group of friends, they have theirs,
Mm-hmm.
and I know their friends too. It's funny because I drank with a bunch of their friends too. Like once I got of age, and they were like, "Dude, you're so cool!" And
Dude,
you're
my
the
my sister's group of friends corrupted me when I was younger
one." I got
to
corrupted
drink,
too.
to be that way. You know, they'd be like, oh, I remember getting you drunk, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
You
yeah.
ruined my life.
Oh, dude, the best part, it was, oh, God, how long? It was like a couple years ago. Me and Colleen we were at a bar in Lockport. And we walked
Didn't
in.
we run into one of Aaron's friends one time at a bar too?
Yeah.
We were in Lockport.
Yeah.
With Jackie's bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was one night, you were there, yeah, for that one. But there was another night, I walked in, and it was me and Colleen. And we walked in, and I looked over at the machines, and I'm like, oh, shit, I know who that is. And she's like, what? I'm like, oh, that's my sister's friend.
Yeah.
And I walked over to her, and I was like, hey. She's like, what the hell are you doing here? I'm like, drinking? I don't know.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, I remember when you were like 10. I'm like, yeah, I know. It happens.
Not 10 anymore.
Well, that was, and she was there with her, I don't know, fiance, boyfriend, I don't know, whatever.
So,
But whatever it was. But we're just like, hey, whatever, and then that happened. And then, like, She was like, I was just hanging out with your sister. I'm like, oh, well, there you go. Now I'm here. So then that happened. And then another night, my sister was out with her at Jackie's. And we showed up. And I didn't know that my sister was there. And I walked up. I'm like, hey, sis. She's like, what the fuck are you doing here? I'm like,
I think that was the night me and Phil were with you.
that was one of the nights. One of the nights she was, yeah, you were, you guys were there.
Yeah.
But there was another night when me and Colleen ran into her too, and it was hilarious. Cause she's like, you guys come here. I'm like, well, why not? There's nothing. It's right down the street from my house, so no big deal. But it was just funny having that all come, full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I feel like we should have Phil on.
Yeah.
You'd have to work on that. He's more attentive to you than he is to me, so.
That is a choice that is not mine to make.
All you have to do is, hey, bro, you want to be on?
Yeah. Oh, I could do that. Yeah.
It'd
have to be on a weekday, like today.
Yeah.
But we could make that happen. Yeah. Want to do a shot? Close us out.
What do you want to do a shot of?
Who we got? Give me the roster. Who we got in the fridge? We got 3 Gs. Let's do 3 Gs.
And then we got whiskey sour.
Let's do whiskey sour. I feel like that would go good with this.
Yeah. Actually, I'm in agreement with you. Here, you pour these. I have to see this message that I got because it's a food order.
Ooh. What are we getting?
Somebody wants Freddy's.
Oh, right down the street.
The jalapeno pepper jack double combo.
This is me. This is you. Yeah, I'll talk to Phil. Have him come on. It's got to either be on Monday or Tuesday kind of deal.
Tuesdays work better.
Yeah, we'll workshop now.
Okay.
I mean, we do this, what, once a week?
Yeah.
Once every 2 weeks?
Once a week or once every 2 weeks. It depends.
Yeah, we can't let the future get too far away from us.
Yeah.
Sorry for all those people that get the delayed news. But, it is what it is. Yeah, I think he'd be on board. Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. But
We just can't talk about Greg.
shut up. Steve. I just don't want it to turn into an argument with you. I'm gonna be like, oh, time out. Let me stop the camera. Wait, let me.
There's no argument with me, bro.
Be like, I'm gonna keep the camera rolling.
Don't you remember the last time we came together? Well, before the wedding, we came to agree. Yeah, before my wedding, me and him came to an agreement on a lot of things.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I've been working on that fracture for years, dude.
Well,
yeah.
One-sided.
2-sided cervical.
Ooh, that's good.
I was good with that.
Yeah. See, those fit together.
Yeah.
Whiskey sour,
Hops.
West Coast IPA, good.
Yeah.
If you would have thrown in that espresso, no.
I don't even think the Hawaiian Blue would have worked.
Espresso would have worked with the Irish Red Ale.
Maybe. Might have been good. Or the red one. The Cosmo one.
Yeah, that would work good too.
But anyway, good night, everybody. Hope you
Good night.
enjoy our fucking fucked up lives.
Yes.